What's going on to Garage Gym Athletes? Today I want to show you in 4 easy steps how to create the perfect warm-up. So it's a pretty normal thing when you sell a program online or have some programming. If warm-ups aren't, specifically written out for you, people don't really know how to warm up, or they want somebody to write a warm-up for them. It's regularly asked about how much you should warm up, what's too much, what's not enough, how to specifically gear up for certain lifts, for certain stimulus, certain everything. So today I want to show you a 4-step process and 4 elements of why or how you should create the perfect warm-up. Now, if you're doing our programming, Garage Gym Athlete programming in Team Builder, then these warm-ups are created for you, and you'll notice that they kind of carry over, or will share these 4 steps and this philosophy. But say you're not doing the programming inside that, maybe you have a standalone program of ours that doesn't have this written out, or you're doing a different program and you're doing something that isn't ours at all. So after this video, you're going to be able to construct your own perfect warm-ups with 4 easy things. And if you are doing our programming, then this is what block 0 is. So first off, as far as warm-ups goes, any warm-up should only take about 10 minutes. If you need 15-20 minutes to warm up, then you have maybe there's some other issue that you need to work on separately, some other type of mobility or injury that you might need to rest. But you should be able to warm up within 10 minutes, and that's basically getting your body ready to warm up, but not necessarily ready to go for, like, if you're doing heavy sets of back squat or deadlift. Maybe you do a 10-minute warm up, but then you go over to the bar and start doing warm-up sets on the bar. So that's kind of an asterisk to the warm-up. Is you're going to have your warm-up sets. You're going to have your 10 minutes of warm-up with this 4-step warm-up, but then always bake in warm-up sets to whatever lift you're doing. So you can either count them to it, so whether it's taking, doing this for 6-7 minutes and then doing warm-up sets, or just doing the full 10 minutes of that and doing warm-up sets. But this is how this warm-up will go. So to get into the 4 steps, first, so if you can't see, HECC is the little acronym that I came up with. You can say, heck. So to start off, H is going to stand for heart. Now this is getting your heart rate up, heart rate elevated. So taking 1 to 2 minutes, or depending on if you want to do this as a circuit, then I would keep it to like 1 or 2 minutes, so that you go from one to the next to the next. But if you just want to go through it once, then I'd say anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. Do something to get your heart rate up. So go for a run, do some rowing, get on a bike, do some jump rope, do some burpees, whatever you need to do to get your heart rate elevated. And this isn't doing sprints, so that's another caveat that to say, is that you're not sprinting or doing max efforts or even that much explosive, at least not being explosive with a lot of weight for your warm-up. You want to make sure that you're just getting your heart rate up, getting warm. It's all about blood flow. So make sure you're getting the blood flow through the body and getting nice and warm. So H, first one is for heart rate. So first we have our heart rate. So now E is going to be for engage. And what I mean by engage is, this is when you're going to look at the workout that you're about to do. If it is a lower body type workout, if you're doing back squats, if you're doing press, whatever it is. So if it's a lower body emphasis day, then the engage part is going to be what you want to engage for your warm up. So if it is back squat, for example, you're going to want to do some air squats, do some lunges, do some step ups, do some, maybe even some kettlebell swings. And I mentioned, maybe not being explosive on warm-ups too much, but kettlebell swings, if you keep it like a Russian or a lower weight, really you just want to work on your glute activation. You want to engage what you are doing, what you're using for the warm-up for that day. That is what the important thing is for building this warm-up. So elevating your heart rate, and then engaging the area that you're going to go with some sort of, typically a body weight exercise. You can do bands are great for warm-ups as well, like a banded good morning if you're doing lower body, or a banded press, or a banded pull, like a face pull, something like that for upper body. But you want to engage, and typically you want to do anywhere from like a 5 to 15 reps for engage. And if you're doing sets, maybe like 3 sets of whatever you're doing to engage, if you're going through like a circuit. All right, number 3, so heart rate up, we're engaging that area. Then the first C is for counter. Now what do I mean by counter? So whatever you are engaging, so if it's a lower body emphasis day and you just did lunges, you want to counter, and that the counter portion means basically the opposite. So if it's a lower body emphasis day, you still want to warm up your upper body. So you're going to counter whatever movement you did before. So if you were doing lunges, say you are, so lunges is a lot of hamstrings and glutes. So for counter, you may want to do push-ups because you still want to warm up your upper body. You still want to get the other side of you warm to complete your warm-up. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy because the emphasis is still on engage. It's still on what you're engaging for your emphasis for that day. But you still need to, because we do a lot of compound movements, back squat, you're not just using your legs, you're holding the bar. Deadlift, you're holding the bar, or even flipping it the other way around. So counter, you still want to counter doing something related, even especially like for back squat day, if you're doing air squats or a glute activation, then pull-ups is a great counter because you are, again, like you're holding the bar. So doing a pull-up will help to engage your back and to prepare yourself to hold said weight. Especially if you're doing weighted exercises, you need to warm up everything because even if you're just doing a deadlift, you're still holding it with your upper body. So the counter is going to be whatever, it's going to play off of whatever you are used to engage. And the last C is core. So core, that's what it is, it's core. So everything that we do, no matter what it is, you're using your core in some shape or form. If you're holding a barbell, your core has to hold the barbell, has to hold the weight. If you're holding a kettlebell, dumbbells, anything, your core is stabilizing you. If you're doing conditioning, you're still using your core. Your legs, you might be running or biking, your legs still start at your core. So you need to do something for your core. And it doesn't need to be like a killer crazy ab workout. Do some leg raises, do some V-ups, do some planks, some kind of a hold. Static holds are great for warm-ups, but do something to engage your core. So you have your heart rate, you got your heart rate up, you engage whatever it is in your warm-up, your workout is, you did a counter movement to counter the engage, and then you're warming up your core. These are the 4 key steps and easy steps to creating any warm-up that you need for any workout that you can come up with. And I'll go over some examples in a minute. So another really important thing that I want to hit on before we get into making some warm-ups is that warm-ups should be specific for you. Everybody warmed up differently, and that's why we developed this little method, because we can write a warm-up up there, but if you don't need help with it, with certain things that we put on there, or you need extra help somewhere else, then you should really start to tailor your warm-up to you. So I know me specifically, whenever I have like squat day or lower body emphasis day, I know I need to do some specific glute isolation, isolating my glutes, make sure they are firing correctly. Not all people need that. Some people need it for the hamstring. Some people need to do something for their shoulder, mobilize their shoulder, or engaging their lats. So that's the same thing. So making sure that whatever warm-up you're doing is going to benefit you and your workout going forward. Same thing with mobility. We put mobility at the end of our workouts in Garage Gym Athlete, but if you need to do some sort of mobility to smash before the workout, then I encourage you to do so. And another super important note is to not do static stretching. You'll notice we don't do static stretching before workouts. There's a lot of research, and we've done a couple of, I think, even podcasts and studies on static stretching before workout is not good for you. Do your static stretching afterwards as a cool down to increase the length of your muscles, but do not do it beforehand because you need them to be able to spring forward and contract. Mobility, keep it to a smashing, something to mobilize to, again, increase that blood flow for that area. I personally will smash my lats before I do a lot of pull-ups and stuff, and even my quads as well, or even my calves. So the smashing should happen after your warm-up before you actually start getting into your sets. So just another thing to keep in mind for how you structure your warm-up, and if you need to, tailor your time so that you take less minutes, so maybe like 6 or 7 minutes again for your warm-up, and then do your mobility, your smashing, then go to your barbell and start your movement. So here we have a lower body emphasis day. So say we're doing squats today, so it's mostly lower body. I won't put up an entire workout, but say we have squats, good mornings, some kettlebell swings, some push-ups, and maybe a Russian twist or something. But the main thing is the squats and all of that. So once again, after you do your warm-up, you will get into your squat warm-up reps. But to actually make your warm-up, we're going to do 2 minutes row. Okay, so there's our heart, H, 2 minutes of rowing, and we're gonna have, and this is gonna be like a 10-minute circuit. 2 minutes of rowing. Engage, I want to do, so it is lower body, I want to do, say, 10 each lunges. Okay, we have the engage, lower body, engaging for 10 each on the lunges. Counter, I mentioned this before, so we already talked about a lot of this, is going to be, we'll say 8 pull-ups. Always strict, not kipping. Again, sticking with the not being explosive in your warm-ups, because you need to warm them up. There's no reason to be explosive during your warm up unless you're doing something explosive in the actual workout, which I will get to in the last one to shake it up a little bit. We have heart, we have engage, we have counter, and now we just need some core. So we are going to 30-second plank. And there's our warm up. So you can do this either, 3 times or for 7 minutes continuous. And that's how your lower body warm up will be. And there you go. And then you mix in your back sets, starting off with, 1 by 10, 1 by 8, 1 by 6, and then working sets. So that's just a brief, whatever, you can do whatever you need for your back squat. That's just how I kind of start off with it, empty sets. But this is the main thing that we are focusing on, is this part. All right, now for your upper body warm up. Again, just going through another example. We're going to do 10 burpees. Okay, heart rate, burpees. Engage, so engage, we want to do 8 hand release push-ups. Hand release push-ups, we are engaging. Now we want to counter. Now for upper body, for counter, you can go to a couple different ways, and it could depend on what your workout is. If you have a press heavy day, then maybe you do want to do a pull on the other. You maybe want to do ring rows or something because you still want to engage your back. That's still kind of a counter movement for it, depending on how. But if your upper body has both pulling and pushing, then you can still do, especially if you're doing like a standing press or something, you're still using your legs, you're still using that area. So I want to do a 8 each side lunge. 8 each side lunge. Something to activate your hamstrings, your glutes, because if you're standing with your weight, you're still holding it, and it's still going to help you warm up and keep your heart rate up to keep warm, because you're not trying to fatigue your upper body. You just want to make sure everything's warm, and then you're still bracing and using your legs to a certain extent. And then your core. So this could be a static hold. This could be a lot of it. Core is really very big in what you can do. So you don't need to do specifically abs or crunches or something. Anything that will strengthen what you were doing in like any kind of static hold as well. So upper body, even though it's somewhat of an engage and a counter, it could be a lot of these, but for core, sometimes I'll throw in a 20-second bar hang. So you're still engaging things, you're still holding and bracing yourself. It's still warming up your upper body. It still goes with the upper body warm up. And again, you can still do it for 3 minutes. You can do 3 sets. You can do 10 minutes, whatever you need to do to go through those, and then mobility and warming up to your press, whatever it is for that. Okay, now mixed modal aerobic. So this is just like Metcons, supersets, a lot of different. If you have, maybe it's not an upper body day, maybe it's not a lower body day. Maybe you got a little bit of everything. Maybe it is just a long circuit Metcon type day with some conditioning. You don't really know which one to focus on. So that's what this is. This isn't stand for, the MMA fighter. This is mixed modal aerobic. So how are we going to start this one? We're going to do a 30 double unders or, 60 single. So double unders, single unders, again, jump rope. We're getting the heart in. Engage. So if you have, this is one I mentioned that like with being explosive and stuff, you can kind of work in depending on what you're doing. A lot of times with mixed modal aerobic and these types of circuits, there will be something explosive. Maybe it's a kettlebell swing. Maybe it's a squat jump. Maybe it's a clean. Maybe it's like a power clean, something like that. In which case, I think a 12 Russian swing are fine. So you don't need to go super heavy on the swings for the Russian swings. Just as long as you're engaging your core, you don't, and I say Russian because it's just out to eye level, out in front of you. So really you're just focusing on your core, engaging the lower body, and that's how you're going to get warmed up and get ready for something explosive. You can even for this do a jump squat, because really keeping the explosive part to body weight will also help. Jump squats, jump lunges, I probably wouldn't do a broad jump because broad jumps are more of like max effort, but you can still be semi-explosive, but not like do to the side of like injury. Okay, so your Russian swings, counter, again, I would look at what your workout has for that day, but I like to sometimes, because bands are really, really good for any sort of warm-up, because you can adjust how your resistance is and slow and controlled reps to get it through. I would like to do 10 face pulls. Okay, so we're warming up the back, we're pulling, getting the upper body going, slow and controlled reps, and then core, again, with the core, we can still do something explosive, something different, something that, or even core wise, that can stabilize anything that we're doing. It doesn't need to be strictly for your abs, but you still need to warm up, prime the bulk of your body, and prepare it for whatever you're doing in your circuit. So I could have waited to do something explosive down here, which wouldn't have been a bad idea. So I'm going to, it's kind of flipping, engaging in counter, or core, I mean, for this, because this could have been part of the core, because you still need to have a tight core when you're doing Russian swings, but I'll keep them engaged. Another great core exercise, or that could and also be kind of engaging, are we'll do 6 inchworms. That you're stabilizing, you're holding yourself on your arms, you're inching down, you're stretching your hamstrings, you're coming back up, you're stabilizing with your core, everything right there. So do this circuit for, again, 6, 7, 10 minutes for that. And then whatever you're doing, this is another part, is that whatever you're doing for these type of circuits, if you have like a long Metcon for the day, that you need to get warmed up first before you start practicing. But you should still work in practicing, just like we do with the lower body emphasis on the back squat sets. You need to get warm first before you start doing any sort of warm-up sets, and mobility should go in between right here. Mobility goes right there before you get into your other sets. But the main takeaway that I wanted to get from today's video is this 4-step warm-up progression that is super easy to tailor for any workout you're doing, and you can even adjust the workouts, the warm-ups that you're doing now, if it's just very generic or just mass-produced. Heart, engage, counter, core. That is the 4 steps to creating the perfect warm-up for you, for your workouts, for any side of training that you're doing, whether you're doing our training. Even though we have the workouts for you, you can still make your own warm-ups, because every warm-up should be tailored to you anyway, and not just for the masses for everything, because it's more about how you're going to execute your workout the best way possible. So I hope you took something away from this, and let us know down in the comments if you like this approach to a warm-up, or if you have any thoughts and feelings toward it as well, and we will see you in another video.